the family, Mastroberardino family, established this winery at the beginning of the 1700s. So it's a 10-generation history. Now the 11th is coming, and I'm sure it will be better than the 10th. And the company has been doing the same job for a very long time. That is the role of preserving and maintaining the roots and the bridge with the past, the roots of our viticulture in the region, that is Greek and Latin, because Campania has this peculiarity, has always been dominated by almost everybody. Among them, more than 2,000 years ago, there were the Greeks there, Magna Graecia period, but then we also, of course, had the Romans coming from the north. So we got, part of our culture and civilization coming from the Greek times, and among them, we got the viticulture. We got grapes like the Aglianico, that is the grape that we have in the Taurasi that we are tasting this afternoon. We also have Greco grape, that is also Greek, of course, but then we have the Latin grapes there that were, a little fighting with the Greek ones, like Fiano, the ancient Vitis Sapiana of the Romans. So there is quite a long story of vine growing and wine making in the region that is even witnessed by, the ruins that we have there in Pompeii mainly. So the story of the family is also reported in a museum that we have there. There is a museum that covers a period of 3 centuries, starting at the beginning of 1700s with all the original papers of the family, and going all the way to 1945, that is the year in which my grandfather passed away. So I still have to work on my father, period, but it will take some time. Anyway, the first period starts in 1700 and goes all the way to 1878. It's the period in which we have the domination of the Spanish family of the Borboni. You can see this is one of the papers that we have there. It's a purchase of land made by my great-great-grandfather, Michele Mastroberardino. You see the name on the bottom. And there's the seal of the reign of the two Sicilies, of the Borboni family on top. So this is a period in which the family works on building the family business as a patrimony. So the investment in land, in viticulture. Many of these papers describe the vineyards that were located in the properties. And so we have a continuity even in the papers of the description of the quantity of grapes produced every year in each and every village and estate of the family in these periods. Then we have a second important period in the history of the family that starts in 1878. It's a period in which Italy starts, some of wine families from Italy start looking at the world. They start exporting, they start opening markets. And the family starts bringing the wines to international wine contests. This is London, Crystal Palace, 1906, diploma for Grand Prix with gold medal awarded to Mr. Cavaliere Angelo Mastroberardino for the wines from Matripalda. So this is a period in which we have many medals and diplomas, Paris, many important cities in Europe. And then from there on, this is my great-grandfather Angelo, my grandfather Michele, that starts being the brand ambassador. He starts traveling all around the world. It's the beginning of 1900s. This is a letter that he writes to his father from New York. It's June 1912. And he's describing the trip, the business trip. He says, I would like to do this tour, New York, Boston, Montreal, Utica, Syracuse, Buffalo, Toronto, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Chicago, St. Louis, New Orleans, and New York again. And he said, this travel is going to last about 20 days. It's going to cost $250 all included, okay? Yeah, this is exactly what we are doing now. It's a little more expensive, but the approach is quite similar. So these are some of the bottles of the period of the 20s, the 30s, the 40s. It's a period in which the family has a strong presence in all the continents. We have North America, Latin America. We have all the African colonies covered all the way from Tripolitania to Cape Town with the wines of our family. And of course, Asia and Australia are markets that were open at the time. These are some of the celebration bottles that we have been producing during these decades. But coming to the area, sorry, what is really unusual about our region, we are located in Campania, as you can see in the map. We are a little south of Italy, south of Rome. It's the region of Napoli. And many people think of Napoli and the region, talking about Capri, Positano, Sorrento, Amalfi, and Mount Vesuvio and Pompeii. So the coast, that was the richest part of the region. But the high-quality viticulture comes from the inland. And as you can see, the inland is completely different. It's not plain. Campania was named by the Romans Campania Felix due to the fertility of this plain part on the coast. But we are right in the middle of these high mountains that are in the inland, and the environment is completely different there. We have mountains, we got snow every year around in the mountains around the viticultural area. The viticulture starts at 350 meters on the sea level, goes up to 700 meters. In a situation that is like this, as you can see, we got high mountains, we got a huge protection from the freezing currents coming from northeast. That is extremely important as a microenvironment for our viticulture. And this is the appellation of Taurasi. That is the wine we are focusing on today. Taurasi is an appellation that, as you can see, is covered by many estates of the family from the north all the way south. The southern part is the coldest. And the wine we are tasting is Radici Taurasi Riserva, comes from the southern part of the appellation area. That is also the coldest one and the highest in elevation. This means that, this is the typical environment of Irpinia. This is the estate of Montemarano where we produce this wine. This means that we have two main characteristics in these wines. One is this huge acidity. We are the last wine region to harvest. We are still harvesting the whites now. We are now picking the Greco grapes. We are starting the Aglianico in this week, in the coming week, and we will go all the way to usually the end of October or beginning of November. That's very unusual. On the other hand, the minerality coming from a volcanic region. We got, volcanic ash layers in the soil almost everywhere, and this the typical typical environment of the region. Just coming to the wine that we are tasting, Radici is harvested at the beginning of November. The grape is Aglianico, the ancient Vitis Hellenica of the Greeks, and the wine is then has a maceration process that is 18 to 20 days usually. With temperature control, lower temperature. Then we have a period quite long in the barrels, mainly big barrels that are 47 hectoliters, the traditional Slavonian oaks. And it's about 36 months, 3 years. And then we've got a long period of refining in the bottle. So the release comes after usually 7 years of cellar. That is quite unusual. But Taurasi has a beautiful ageability. We have tasted some of the 1 century-old bottles of the family with Ellison and Bruce recently. So, it's an interesting experience to see the evolution of a very specific small wine region located in the middle of nowhere in Italy. Thank you.
Thank you.